All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. This webinar's topic is about navigating parenting plans during summer vacation. We are so excited that all of you registered and attended, and we are even more excited to have Elizabeth Gregory, an attorney at Johnson Law Group, as our host today. My name is Sarah Weeder. I'm going to be acting as a moderator. If at any point you have any questions or comments, please feel free to type them into the chat box in the lower right-hand corner, and I will be reading out the questions at the end of the webinar. As always, your participation and questions are anonymous, and if you have any questions later on, you can feel free to email us. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Elizabeth.
All right. Thank you so much, Sarah. I really appreciate it. And welcome to everyone. As Sarah mentioned, I'm a partner here at Johnson Law Group, and today we are going to be discussing summer parenting plans and summer considerations, vacations, and those types of things. So I will go ahead and get started as I share my screen. All right, Sarah, can you give me a heads up? Do you see the slideshow?
Yep, it's looking good.
All righty, very cool. All right, parenting plans, summer considerations. As we've mentioned previously, this is not legal advice. We appreciate that you are attending and listening to this presentation, but as a warning, this attendance in the presentation does not create an attorney-client relationship. So this should not be taken as legal advice. And before we start talking specifically about summer parenting plans, it's important to understand the different types of parenting plans or different types of parenting schedules that can be in your overarching parenting plan. And what are the different types of parenting time that we want to address? First is going to be regular parenting time. That is the parenting time that is during the school year. That's going to be a majority of the year, so that's considered regular parenting time. And then we have the summer parenting time, which is what we're going to be focusing on today. That is the parenting time when school is not in session during the summertime. Then we also have holiday parenting time, which is specifically designated holidays that are celebrated by one or both of the parents that are divvied up between the parents in a particular way. Usually this is going to be equally, and it'll alternate by year. So usually that's going to be, on even years, one of the parents gets Christmas, and on odd years, the other parent gets Christmas, or whatever holiday it is that is important that you guys celebrate. I'm not going to be delving too much into holiday parenting time today. In fact, that's probably all I'm going to say about it. Then we have vacation parenting time, which is discretionary time allotted to each parent to utilize either on their own parenting time or during the other parent's parenting time for vacation purposes, for vacation purposes with the minor children. Now, not every parenting plan has these different types of parenting time designations. In order for your plan to include all of these or any of these, you have to put it in there, or you have to ask the court to put it in there when you go to a hearing. Not every plan is going to specifically designate summer parenting time. And if it doesn't, then you don't get it. So these are the things that you need to consider when you're thinking about developing your parenting plan, when you're going to court and you're asking the judge to order a specific plan for you and the other parent regarding your child or children. Additionally, there's a generally accepted order of precedence. Again, if it's not in the parenting plan, then it doesn't exist. So if the order of precedence isn't in the parenting plan, it's not in the court-ordered document, then there is no order of precedent. This can cause a lot of confusion if parties draft their parenting plans themselves and they don't think about these types of things. There can be conflicting provisions, which causes issues between the parents. So the generally accepted order of precedence is holiday parenting time takes precedence over everything. Then vacation parenting time would take precedence over regular parenting time and summer parenting time, but not over holiday parenting time. So a lot of times you'll see in vacation provisions that the parents are not allowed to take vacation time during the other parent's holiday time. Then we have regular parenting time. That's going to take precedence over summer parenting time because regular parenting time happens during the school year, and sometimes those school years can change, especially since COVID, right? Some school years are longer, some are shorter. If we have to make up snow days, those types of things, then the regular parenting time could be extended into what otherwise would be summer parenting time. And then summer parenting time is last. Again, whatever you want to be in the parenting plan, you have to put it in there, because if it's not in there, it's not enforceable. If the judge doesn't order it, if you don't put it in your agreed upon parenting plan for the judge's signature, if at trial you don't ask for it and the judge doesn't order it, then it's not enforceable. It doesn't matter how much you talked about it. It doesn't matter how much you and the other party agreed upon it on the telephone or even in emails or over talking parents. It doesn't matter. Okay, it has to be in the parenting plan. So that's why these are really important to think about as you're drafting, while you're drafting, before the final hearing, before the court signs off on it. All right, so why might you need a different summer parenting time schedule? Well, as we stated before, summer parenting time is different than regular parenting time because kids are in school during regular parenting time. During the summer, the kids' school schedule has changed. They're not in school, so therefore it has changed. Maybe the kids' daycare schedule has changed. So if the kids were in school all day and that allowed you or the other parent to work, and now we're in summer and they're not in school, what does the daycare schedule look like? What does that childcare look like? Do we need to make changes based on that difference in schedule so that you can still work your normal hours, so that you can still have parenting time with your child or children, so that we can still make the parenting time exchanges run smoothly. That kind of ties into the next one. The parents need to accommodate their work schedules. Work schedules sometimes change during the summertime. Maybe we need to think about that for the parenting time schedule. Additionally, because the kids aren't in school, maybe their extracurricular activities have changed. Maybe during the school year, they had soccer practice right after school. So the parenting exchange needed to happen at 5:30 at the school instead of right after school. And then during the summertime, maybe they have morning practice instead. Maybe it's a 9 a.m. start time, they get done at 11:30. I don't actually know how long soccer practices last, but maybe that's a consideration that we need to think about while we're drafting the parenting plan. Additionally, usually summertime is when families take their vacation. So in addition to the summer parenting schedule changes that we're going to be talking about, we'll also be talking about vacation time provisions for those parenting plans. And this last one is the practical implications of child support calculations. So child support is calculated not only on the party's gross monthly income, but it's dependent on the number of overnights that each parent has with the child. So if the regular parenting time schedule has one parent with the majority parenting time, then the summertime would be when the other parent can have more parenting time so that they can have a more equal schedule for the calculation of child support, because there are significant impacts to the child support calculation depending on the number of overnights. And this leads us into our next slide. So I just talked about this. The parties want equal parenting time, but parent one has majority parenting time during regular parenting time during the school year. So in this example, parent one is going to have more time during the school year. Parent one has 4 overnights, which is Monday through Thursday. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday overnight during the school year. And then parent two is going to have Friday through Sunday. So that's 3. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So the school year is generally 42 weeks long, and summer is generally 10 weeks long. Okay, that does not include holidays, that does not include vacation. We are leaving that out of the calculation. That's generally excluded. So the school year is 42 weeks long. This means that parent one has 168 overnights and parent two has 126 overnights during the regular parenting time. Then summer is usually 10 weeks long. To make the parenting time equal, parent two is going to need 56 overnights during the summer, which is a majority of the summer, in order for the parents to have equal parenting time throughout the entire year. So child support is calculated based on the number of overnights during the entire year. So during the summertime, parent two will have Sunday through Thursday overnights, which is 5. And parent one will have Friday and Saturday overnights, which is 2 during the summertime. That's going to give us that equal parenting time. And so this is how you can kind of mix and match this regular parenting time with the summer parenting time to determine how you can make that parenting time equal if one of the parties is going to have majority time during the school year, during regular time. All right, so here's a real life example from one of my cases. So the regular parenting time schedule, and I have this broken down by week 1 and week 2. F stands for father's overnights and M stands for mother's overnights. So what this is mom has on an every other week schedule, mom has Friday, Saturday, Sunday overnights every other week. Okay, so that is indicated by these little F's in here, F, 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 F. And then once it comes to Friday, M, Saturday, M, Sunday, M, and then the next week, F, 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 F. So that's what the regular parenting time schedule is. The parties then agreed that they would do a week on, week off during the summertime so that mom would have more than 94 overnights for the entire year. The reason for that is because for child support purposes, in order to be considered joint custody for child support calculation, the minority parenting time parent has to have 94 or more overnights. Okay, so I broke that down here with all of the, whoops, my bad. I broke that down at the bottom with all of the numbers. So I calculated father has 231 overnights during regular parenting time and 35 overnights during summer, for a total of 266 overnights for the entire year. Mom has 63 overnights during regular parenting time and 35 during the summer, for a total of 98. If the regular parenting time had remained consistent in the summer, Mom would only have 78 overnights total. That does not get her past that hump of 93, so that for child support purposes, they're considered joint custody. All right. Other things to think about besides child support. Vacation parenting time provisions. Now, as we've been saying, if it's not in the parenting plan, it doesn't exist. So you have to think about what your goals are. What is your goal for vacation time? What does your family normally do? And also keep in mind that if you want to have a provision for an accommodation for yourself, then it is reasonable to expect the other party to want the same accommodation. So we do not suggest or promote lopsided vacation parenting time provisions, or really any parenting time provisions, and the judges are not really going to accept those either. If one party wants something and wants to include it in the parenting plan, then the other party is most likely going to benefit from that provision as well. So this is kind of small. I hope everybody can read it. So a couple of examples of different types of vacation parenting time provisions. The first one contemplates the parties being able to take their vacation parenting time during the other party's regular parenting time. So this reads, each party may exercise up to 14 vacation days with the child each year, which may be taken during the other party's parenting time. Neither parent shall exercise more than 7 consecutive vacation days, and neither parent shall combine vacation days with regular parenting time to exceed 7 consecutive days. So essentially what this is saying is you can take 14 vacation days, but you can't have more than 7 days in a row. What that does is it ensures the children have parenting time with the other parent at least every 7 days. So they're not going longer than 7 days without seeing the other parent. That's important for children. It's important for their consistency, especially young kids, to see their parents on a very regular basis, both parents. So as kids get older, these types of things can be modified and changed. And perhaps, you want to file a motion to modify, or perhaps you and the other parent can agree and file a new parenting plan without having to file a motion. And of course, these can be drafted to specifically fit your family's goals, desires, and needs. If you don't want the child to go more than 3 days without seeing either one of you, well, that would be somewhat restrictive for vacation's sake. But if that's how you want it drafted, that's how we can draft it. Is the judge going to necessarily agree? That's going to be up to the particular judge. But if the parties themselves can agree, if the parents of the children agree on the parenting plan, the judge is most likely going to sign off on it. The next one is vacation parenting time not during the other party's parenting time. And this reads, the parties shall each be able to take vacation time with the minor child during their own parenting time. Neither party shall cause the child to miss school for any vacation or other parenting time unless mutually agreed upon in writing by the parties. So for this particular parenting plan, it was a week on, week off parenting plan through the entire year. So regular parenting time and summer parenting time, it was all week on, week off. And the parties agreed that that was enough time to take their vacation. They were not going to need to take a vacation longer than 7 days. So they would take it during their own parenting time. And they also agreed that they would not cause the child to miss school for vacation purposes. And like I've been saying, think about your goals, think about what works best for your family, and those are the provisions that we can include in your parenting plan, specifically these vacation parenting time provisions. Another thing to consider is notice. So if the other party takes a vacation with the child, how soon in advance do you want to know about it, and what sort of information do you want to know? For this particular one, the notice provision, if the vacation is out of state, the parties shall provide 30 days notice to the other party. The party exercising vacation parenting time shall provide a full itinerary and contact information to the other no later than 48 hours prior to the beginning of the vacation. So in this one, they had agreed that they would let the other parent know at least 30 days in advance that they were taking the vacation. And then 48 hours in advance, they would provide the itinerary, including emergency contact information, no later than 48 hours prior to leaving. All right. Another thing to consider is any changes in the exchange location. So a lot of times, parenting plans will state that the parenting time exchanges will occur at the minor child's school or daycare, meaning when the party is beginning their parenting time, they will pick the child up from school or daycare. When the party is ending their parenting time, they'll simply drop the child off. Now, when school isn't in session or when daycare hours change, we need to think about how the exchanges might also change. One of the things that you can do is you can keep the exchange location at the school. We do have a lot of clients who do that. It makes things easier because then you're not having to wonder, when does the exchange location change? What is it this week? Is it going to change next week? No, it's always the same. So that's this first one over here under summer parenting exchange provision options. During summer parenting time, the parenting time exchanges shall still occur at the minor child's school or daycare. Exchanges shall occur at 5:00 p.m. The party commencing their parenting time shall arrive no more than 15 minutes after the designated exchange time, or that party shall forfeit their parenting time for that particular occasion. So this was taken from a parenting plan where one of the parties was notoriously late, sometimes hours late to the exchange. So the judge ordered that the party commencing their parenting time, and it wasn't just the party who was always late, it applied to both parties. So when I said before that provisions are not going to apply unilaterally to one or the other party, this is an example of that. The 15-minute time cutoff applies to both parties. Now, for all practical reasons, one of the parties was always on time, so did it impact that party? No. So the judge decided that to avoid any confusion, any arguments, the parties were just going to do the parenting time exchanges at the school, and it was going to occur at 5:00 p.m. on the exchange day. Another way that it could be done is the exchanges can happen at the parties' residences. That's this second bullet point down here. During summer parenting time, the exchanges shall occur at the parties' respective residences. The party commencing parenting time, so the one who is beginning their parenting time, shall pick the minor child up from the other party's residence at 5:00 p.m. So this, again, it kind of avoids the inconvenience of the parent beginning their parenting time being late. Because if you're just hanging out at home and the other parent is late, it's kind of not as big a deal as if you were driving to a separate location and having to sit and wait in a parking lot for hours. Much more comfortable and convenient to wait at home. But again, if that is a big deal, if the other party being late is a big deal, then we want to have some sort of time cutoff in that parenting provision. And again, I just want to reiterate, these are just examples. When we work with our clients in drafting a proposed parenting plan, especially like before mediation and before we are going to hearing, we have a really thorough discussion with our clients about what are the goals, what works for your family, what vacation parenting time do you want? Do we want to change summer parenting time so that it's different from regular parenting time? Are those considerations that we need to think about? And what reason do we have so that in case we don't agree at mediation, we have a good argument for the judge at court? Those are the different things that we will think about, and we'll be able to change any of those provisions to fit what the client needs, what the family needs, and what the client believes is in the children's or child's best interest. All right. Questions?
So at this point, you guys can feel free to type your questions into the chat box. And in order to remain anonymous, I will read out the questions to Liz and she will provide you answers. If you have questions that you don't really feel like asking right now, or you think of something at a later date, you can feel free to email us at info@johnsonlgroup.com and we will get back to you ASAP. All right, so I do have one question. My child wants me to sign them up for an overnight camp during my ex's time. Can I do that? And will I have to make a provision every time my child starts a new activity?
That is a very good question. So that is implicating decision-making and also the parenting time. So if you have a provision in the parenting plan that covers this type of instance, then you follow the parenting plan. Most, do I want to say most? A lot of our clients, a lot of parents have joint decision making. So any decision regarding extracurriculars, and that literally means anything outside of school, have to be agreed upon by the parties. So if the child tells one parent that they want to sign up for this overnight camp, or I forget what the question was, overnight camp or overnight activity, the parents have to agree. And especially since it's during the other parent's parenting time, if they don't agree, then you're not going to be able to. Would you have to, what was the second part of that question? Would you have to draft a new provision every time?
Yes.
Okay, so I feel like I understand what the question meant, but that's not what you would actually do. So if the parenting plan doesn't have any language that would cover this scenario, and you as the parent really want to sign your child up for this, and the other parent doesn't agree, you would have to file a motion to modify decision-making, because it's about an activity. It's not actually a change in the parenting plan. So it would be a modification of decision-making. And for a lot of different reasons that would be very lengthy for me to discuss right now, I don't necessarily think that that would be worthwhile on a cost-benefit analysis. Yeah, on the cost-benefit analysis, that might not be worthwhile. So if this person wants to specifically call me and ask me why, I'm more than happy to answer that question. But yeah, I think this would be a decision-making issue, not an actual parenting plan or parenting time issue.
Thank you, Liz. And just a reminder for everyone, we are offering, Johnson Law Group is offering free legal coaching sessions periodically throughout this month. So if you keep an eye on our social media accounts, you will see those pop up, and they get given to the first 3 people that email us. So if you do have more questions for Liz, if you have more questions for an attorney in general, those are a perfect opportunity for you and Liz to sort of discuss everything kind of at length for absolutely no cost. So just keep that in mind as well. I don't see any more questions coming in. So I did want to thank everyone again for registering. This is Liz's last webinar with us for a little while. Next week, we have another attorney joining us. So we thank you so much, Liz. You're a wealth of knowledge. We really appreciate it. And thank you everyone for joining, and we hope to see you next week.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. It's been a pleasure and a great opportunity. And I thank everyone for participating, listening, and asking questions.
All right, see you everyone.
Bye.